Clement Manyathela, and welcome to this one-on-one conversation with Ithuba Holdings CEO, Charmaine Mabuza. There are a number of allegations that have been made recently around the administration of the lottery, allegations against Ithuba Holdings as the operator of the lottery, but allegations against the CEO as well. And she's here with us to set the record straight, but also we're here to get to know her much better. Mrs. Mabuza, welcome.
Thank you, Clement.
I want us to take things from the beginning, because we know you as a trailblazer, as an award-winning businesswoman, but things started somewhere. So I want you to take us back to KwaZulu-Natal, where you grew up. How was your childhood? What were your dreams?
Well, it sounds, it's like a long time ago, but I grew up in very humble beginnings in KZN. I was raised by my mom single-handedly. And I'm one of four children in the household, and I'm the eldest. So that being said, on many occasions I had to step up even at my early age and act as a mom when my mother was not at home or not available. So that taught me, I think, a lot about leadership and stepping up. And then also another very important factor, then I went into boarding school, which that taught me in a big way how to be independent and stand up for my own self. And thereon, I think I just cultivated the culture of just believing in my own dreams. I had my own dreams. I knew then, even as a child, that I have to change the circumstances at home, because my childhood was really a tough childhood. I grew up as I said, in very humble beginnings, and most of the time we didn't have money for the basic things that a normal family would, need. So I knew then that I have to, budget, learn how to work and earn a living and change not only my life, but my siblings' lives as well. So here I am today.
So you grew up then witnessing how difficult it was for your mom to raise the family. I understand she was involved in some businesses as well. How far was that involvement, and is that how you were introduced to entrepreneurship?
I think that was the biggest contributing factor of me entering into business. My mom was a trader. She bought and sold things, whatever she could put her hands on to put bread on the table. And that really taught me a lot about costings, about profitability, about identifying niche markets, and how to make sure that you turn your goods or stock into cash quickly. And that really was the beginning, because I often had to work and do the things that she had to do, help out, and you know how it is in a family environment. Everybody has to chip in, otherwise things are going to fall apart. And I believe that's where I learned how to, business. That's when my flair for business actually got propelled or lightened.
So you were not like many of us who were confused after matric on what to do. Were you clear around what kind of path to follow to get to the destination of being the businesswoman you are today?
Well, I was very clear when I matriculated, but I knew even then that I couldn't even afford. In our days, we didn't have, these bursaries, NSFAS and things like that. So my opportunity to go to university, I had to learn subsequently. I had to fund myself subsequently on all my studies. But I knew then that for me, whatever I did has to do with entrepreneurship. And I didn't have that opportunity, and it was, I don't regret the way things panned out, though.
You mentioned that you had to step up as an older sibling at some point. Just help us understand that journey, because in our black communities and our black culture, we're raised to really step up. So if you get to a point where you've got some resources, sometimes you have to take your own siblings to school. What was that experience for you? So what did stepping up mean for you?
Well, I hear that now it's called black tax, in reality for us, we just took it as part of our responsibility. we've always understood in our times or our generation, if you don't do anything, you will never change your siblings or your household, your family members' lives. It's for that reason, for me, stepping up has never been a difficult, issue that I had to grapple with. I just knew it was my responsibility. And I did it with love and joy, and I'm glad that I did it because each of my siblings now are independent and can, they don't have to rely on somebody else or myself. They can fund their own lifestyles,
When do you think your journey to be a business leader really began? Because there was a time when you were a director at Wiphold, which was the first female-owned company to list on the JSE, and that was what, back in 1999 already?
Yes.
I mean, it's a big move to have that now. Back in 1999, that was a crazy move.
It was a crazy move, but I can really, firstly, I must say I'm grateful to the Wiphold board at that time, which gave me an opportunity. I was the youngest director, and I served there for many, many years, and I learned a lot of things. The ladies that were, then it was all women board, were largely my mentors as well, like the Wendy Luhabas, the Gloria Serobes, and Louisa Majolas, and etc. They've been a lot in terms of my mentors or role models at that time. But for me, when I really stepped up was when I actually married my own husband, who's also an entrepreneur in his own rights. I think the combination between the two has really supported me and propelled me to really cementing my entrepreneurship journey, because we started with then our businesses, typical township businesses, where you'd have a retail store or a butchery, and you buy and sell, you're sitting really behind the counter. So I'm grateful for that first-hand experience that I had, and my journey really was cemented when I met my husband.
So how did you then get into gaming? Because women in executive leadership positions are a rarity in the industry. You know it very well. I mean, you were the first, black female to run a lottery operation in South Africa. How was that transition? So from having the businesses at home with your husband, being the director at Wiphold, getting into gaming.
As part of our subsidiaries, we've got a company called Paytronics, which actually owns Central gaming software as part of its IP. And when we had to do a strategy on how best to develop and grow that software into the market, then we identified the lottery as one of the, as an opportunity to use that software and propel it and pivot it to, bigger and better, opportunities. It was with that in mind, that's how I got into the lottery space. We did a lot of research. One was in the forefront of traveling to other jurisdictions to understudy this. We spent a lot of money in terms of R&D, and then I found myself now one day leading the biggest company in Africa, which is Ithuba, which from a lottery perspective, it started from a dream, it's now a reality.
And how was it navigating being the first in this industry that is so male dominated?
It's never been easy. Even now, it's still difficult because not only are you the first woman, but as a woman of color, as a black woman, it's even more difficult. You serve on these international boards. You feel you have to work harder to make sure that people respect you, to earn respect. A point that would be and that would be put across more simpler by male counterparts. You have to do your research and motivate it doubly the hardest, for the position to be accepted. So it's not been easy. But from my own experience, my own executive is made up of more than 60 to 70% of women. That's how much I believe that women are capable, not only in boardrooms, but in executing the operations. So here we are. I do believe in that being a woman, we cannot then say it's difficult, therefore that will act as a barrier. No, I think that should be just a challenge of making sure we overcome those barriers and become the first, and if not lead in those positions that we hold.
Let's talk about Ithuba now. You recently marked your 8th anniversary, and I think in a way you are solidifying your position as the top operator in Africa. Uh, but I imagine this remarkable journey starts somewhere, right? So, what was your vision for this company when you stepped into this role of CEO?
I must say that for me, my vision was to make Ithuba, or the National Lottery, as a matter of fact, part of South Africans' heritage, part of South Africans' DNA. And for me, I think, have we done it? I think we are in a pretty good way, and we can certainly improve. I'm sure there's room for improvement. But celebrating our 8th birthday this year was remarkable for us because we started from humble beginnings, as I've already shared some of our stories. To become the leader in Africa I thought it was remarkable. I still think it's a remarkable achievement. Not only did we introduce the most variety in terms of products and games, but we've also demystified the issues of technology and the availability of the product. Now you can buy the National Lottery anytime, anywhere, through your mobile app or through your retailers or any of the retail
bank
partners, or through your banking activities. As I said, we've simplified. That was my vision, to make sure that you can get the National Lottery a ticket anywhere. You can buy our games anywhere, at your convenience, at whatever time you wish. And I think we've achieved that remarkably, and our sales speak to that. And the recognition that we have in the industry, we've become a first in many, many respects as an operator, as a brand.
Yeah, and do you think that's what you attribute this success to? Because if I'm not mistaken, when you took over, there was a significant percentage increase in terms of the sales. I think you've actually just alluded to that now. Do you think that has got something to do with the convenience and making this accessible to people where they can buy tickets anytime?
Well, access to the product plays a huge aspect to contributing in terms of your sales. But I also think it's your game design and your calendar. People must love, because they come back time and time and again. That's, I think, a validation that South Africans love the game and they love the product. It's a combination of efficiencies that I think we've been able to also bring in to the industry. I think it's a number of factors that have contributed to our steady growth, and will continue to grow because we've got this innovation streak in us.
Yeah. So we've discussed the successes of Ithuba Holdings, and I think successes also comes with challenges, comes with accusations. There are accusations around the administration of the National Lottery that as Ithuba, somehow you've corrupted the system. There are no really big winners, but it's actually the senior managers, including yourselves as executives, who actually are the beneficiaries. Where does that accusation come from?
Let me show you, Clement, and show all the viewers out there. We've created more than 500 multimillionaires. And I can assure you that as a family, my direct family, or any members of the board, we're not permitted, and our employees, we're not permitted to play the lottery. As a matter of employment contract, we do not play the lottery. So I think that is just wild, baseless accusations of somebody who just dreamt up this matter. I'm confident in the system and in the auditing processes that are in place that can give the assurance to the South African public that those are just wild, baseless accusation, and there is nothing of that nature, that our families win the National Lottery. And I would challenge those individuals to show us any one of them. I know that you as individuals, or as Clement, or as the communities out there, you know of the winners in the various communities. It's not that people don't know the winners. It's somebody that wishes to, for some reason or the other, has got a wild vindicta, or whatever their issue issues are, but there are winners. We can show you, we've got proof of those winners that come, and in fact they engage with the media from time to time. And in fact, we have open journalist days where the journalists from any media house can come in, see the processes, come in and audit our processes, and we publish those on our websites and all over the public platforms. So there's none such.
Now, the person who made the allegations claims they were given information by someone inside Ithuba Holdings. Are you aware of someone inside the company who has some access to information who may be peddling these allegations?
I'm not aware of anybody, but as an organization, we have a huge staff complement, and we operate a very transparent business. So everyone knows what is happening within the business. It's just the way we believe that's the best way to do businesses. I don't even believe that claim that he made it actually comes from somebody within our staffing family. I absolutely do not believe it. And as they say, I mean, I know that they would say they're protecting that source, but some of the allegations he obviously made certainly tells me that it comes from somebody who himself doesn't know what is happening in the industry or how the operations run. So I don't believe it actually comes from anybody who's our employee or ex-employer. I believe he made up that story.
Let's talk about the digital platform now, because one of the things you've managed to do under your leadership at Ithuba Holdings is to, somehow bring about that cutting edge technology, implementing strategies to move the National Lottery to this digital realm. And part of the accusation is that things were moved digital so that it can be easy to corrupt the system. How confident are you as the National Lottery in your own digital platforms?
Well, we're very confident about our digital platforms. And as Ithuba will continue to embrace technology, we'll continue bringing those easy accessibility of our product to our players. And there's none such about corruption. I think this, again, is just somebody making some sort of wild allegation. Technology is here to stay. And we as a company must be in the forefront for introducing technology. We want our product to be easy available to our players, to be available anytime, anywhere, at our players' convenience. And the only way you can deliver that is through your digital platforms. There is none such that there is corruptible platforms. I invite that person to actually sign up for into our platform and play, and let's test that, because that has got absolutely no basis, that statement.
Now, as false as the accusations may be, part of what some community members are confused about around the responsibilities between the operator and the regulator. I think you are very much well aware of what's been happening at the Lotteries Commission, who often administer what sometimes you give to them and you contribute to the fund. And when people see those allegations there involving some of the former senior executives at the National Lotteries Commission, then they sometimes think Ithuba is somehow involved. How concerned are you around just the confusion around the different roles and how that plays into affecting the integrity of Ithuba as the operator?
Well, we can't deny that there's a lot of confusion between the various role players or stakeholders in the industry. A lot of people just simply say, oh, the lottery, but that they are, the operator and the regulator have got different mandates. It's clear. I mean, let me just distinguish. The operator, being ourselves, Ithuba, we're the ones that actually bring and support the lottery operations, actually make sure that each ticket is available at retailers. We give our game product portfolio. We give the marketing advice, manage the back end systems, and make sure it's an efficient experience for our players. The regulator's main function or mandate is one to govern or and ensure compliance by the operator being ourselves, but also to distribute the funds which we contribute, which we make as Ithuba to the funds. Let me just explain. For every rand, for an example, for every rand that any of our players actually use or purchase, 30 cents of that money, plus minus 30 cents, actually goes to the regulator to distribute for good causes. So, but a lot of people have got confusion about each player's or each role player's mandate. But we'll continue to educate the public, will continue to educate our stakeholders that these are two distinct, different organizations. It's a great pity, but I think everywhere in the world, I think these are inherent business problems, but we'll continue to support and educate the public about our different roles.
So, Mrs. Mabuza, this person who claims they managed to get information on your digital platforms, I mean, the point he's trying to make is I was able to hack the system, and that just shows how vulnerable the digital platform is.
As I explained, or let me explain. Firstly, he got this information illegally. He was never able to prove to us, and it's in the court order, how he got this information. But nevertheless, in the interest of our players or our players' personal information, we had to do something, because he had information of about 20 players. We were very proactive in order to protect our players' personal information. We settled to go to court. We took him to court, and we got a court order that he should bring back that information. So we never really got down to saying why did he do it, but in his mind, he feels that it was hacked. Our back-end systems, I can assure you, they would never be hacked. And even if they are, that's a criminal cyber fraud. That's something that you should not be proud of. He attempted to extort money from ourselves. He demanded money in return, and we said no ways. We were proactive. We called each of our players, informed them that he had a very limited information on each of our, not on all the players, of 20 players as a matter of interest. We're very proactive to be upfront with our players, how he got it, why he got it, and what is the steps that we're taking forward to protect our players. We will not be part, and we will never let ourselves be part of some criminal activities. We'll do what we can to protect our players' information. And I believe as a company, we took the right step in doing what we have done.
And ultimately, this person was stopped after approaching the courts.
Absolutely. We got a court order, and I think I would suggest that people read that court order in its totality. He was ordered to give back that information to ourselves within a matter of 24 hours, and we decided we're gonna, and we'll do that. Anyone who tries to attempt to play shenanigans or hack our systems, we will be proactive. I mean, the cyber security is not a new phenomenon worldwide. But the issues is, how do you manage it? What are your measures in place to manage it? What are the disaster mitigation processes? And we've got those there, and I'm confident that our systems are very robust, very reliant, and are safe for our players.
So you have been passionate about philanthropy for the longest time. I know, in fact, throughout your journey as a businesswoman, I know it was 2020 when you won the Forbes Africa Women's Social Impact Award. Why is that social commitment so important to you?
It's very important to me because, one, I grew up in a place where poverty is all over. I was part of those community. You see the needs. I mean, it's not unheard of if you are in the township or you've got the better means. People would come to you and tell you their problems about, my school, my children we don't have money to pay for uniforms, or we're short of bread, and you cannot turn a blind eye eye to the suffering or the poverty that is experienced by our communities. Now, being part of a community and being part of the communities, we saw a need to step up years ago, as early back as in the 90s, where my husband and I would look at how can we help the communities that we are living with. And we started in our small, informal way of being active in terms of community development in wherever we've stayed or landed.
Do you remember the first time you gave back to the community, your first personal CSI project?
Yes, I do remember. I think there hasn't been one particular time, but all I know is that even food in our communities, where you share with your communities, has been an important. If you've got Christmas or you've got a bit of extra, you would send it to whoever is in need in your community. So for us, it is just a way of life that we've calculated over the years. So even when one was recognized by Forbes later on, for us it was just a validation that the work that we're doing is we must continue. Somebody at least is giving us a nod, and I must say, I'm just felt the gratitude. And paying back is very important for us. Paying back what we can to our communities, and it's part of our DNA.
And I suppose that's also part of Ithuba's DNA. So that's your personal journey, but Ithuba also does a lot of work for marginalized communities. What's been your assessment of what Ithuba has been able to do and the kind of difference it's been able to make in communities?
From day one, we've been very clear that our philosophy would be about changing lives, not just changing lives in terms of the jackpots or the money that our players win, but also changing lives where we are in control by sharing the little that we have as an organization, because we know it goes a long way. And this has started because we formed an organization, our foundation as Ithuba, where we give bursaries to deserving students. We've got more than 300 students where we fully fund their education, including accommodation, whatever their schooling needs are, or their tertiary education needs are. But more than that, the foundation fills a gap in that it becomes the recipient's family and gives guidance and mentorship to lots and many young men and women. We've produced doctors, accountants, different kind of professions. And it is so wonderful and gratifying to see them come back and say, all we ask for is that you too must pay it forward by helping somebody else in their lives. So the Ithuba Foundation has really been a catalyst for us just to propel our CSI philosophy or our helping hand philosophy. It's just helped us to take it one step up. And this year, we've launched a program. In fact, we started our housing program this week. We will be giving 20 deserving community members homes, decent homes with the tanks and solar. So we kicked off that journey this week to make somebody's Christmas a beautiful Christmas.
Yeah, that's incredible. I've seen a lot of social media posts around people who have benefited from that. I know you've done a lot of work with spaza shop owners as well. So I imagine the need to assist SMMEs as well is quite central to that foundation.
Yes. Enterprise development is very important. Remember, I myself come from that sector as a small SMME or a retail entrepreneur, and I know what are the barriers for small entrepreneurs. One is just simply understanding the business philosophy of how to sell, when to sell, merchandising. We've partnered with a number of institutions, for instance, the University of Johannesburg, where we give a number, and I particularly love supporting female entrepreneurs, where we send them and fund their causes or their education, so they can be empowered to do better, to learn to identify niche markets and what can they do to improve on their own businesses. We further fund some organizations with grants to help them look at what is their business needs so that they can take their businesses to the next level and sustain their business, because sustainability is very important. And as you know, times are hard and many businesses are closing down. So we also stepped up to close the gap.
Yeah. What's your message to the national lottery players and maybe members of the public who were also concerned and confused about the allegations that have been made out there?
I would say to the members firstly, I would like to thank them. For the members of public have continued to support our games. In fact, I saw how they reacted in social media, and I want to thank them openly, because they simply rejected these allegations that bring us proof. But more than anything else, they continue to play our games. That's a validation that they believe in the organization, and I can only just say thank you, and I can assure them that more is to come, and that the lottery is in safe hands.
There's no doubt that Ithuba has transformed and changed the narrative of the South African National Lottery. So what's the next frontier?
Well, I must admit that we are now entering a very the bidding phase in terms of licensing. So we're focusing on the next phase of securing whether it's possible or not. But we as Ithuba, we are really getting operating beyond the borders of South Africa now. We are in countries launching, and that's a validation. I believe in Ithuba, we are in countries, a lot of African countries like Uganda, Tanzania right now, and soon in other jurisdictions like the Botswana, etc. But I do believe that our brand, because now people come to us, we are an established and trusted brand. We know what we're doing as Ithuba, not just from a games portfolio, but from the operational and strategic support. And we continue to grow beyond the borders of South Africa. And the important thing is that this is a South African product, a flagship company, and it's run by women and Black women for that matter. And so I'm proud to be associated with this company.
Oh, Charmaine Mabuza, thank you very much for sitting down.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching this one-on-one conversation with the CEO of Ithuba Holdings, setting the record straight around the allegations that have been made, but also interesting finding out more about her own personal journey in the business world and as a trailblazer. If you've got some questions, you've got some inputs you want to make following this conversation, please be comfortable to put them on the National Lottery social media platforms, and I'm sure some of the questions will be answered on those platforms as well. Thank you for watching.